All right, all right. That was me. That was me. How are we doing? All right. Is that mic better? Can anybody give me a virtual thumbs up out in Zoom that you are hearing this? Virtual thumbs up. Anybody? Kathy? Kathy or Kathy? Actually, it was just coming out of my computer, therefore it must work because it was just accidentally coming out of that, which
We
is
can hear you.
okay, cool. Thank you so much. All right. We've had a little bit of an interesting stop and start here, so thanks for hanging in there with us. I see that you can see me. Okay, those of you at home, you can get your own damn bar, but here we've got all sorts of snacks and things over there. If you can, there's a little donation basket back there to help us out if you like as well, but no pressure. All right, so here we are. Welcome to Work San Jose. So there's a little bit of a hard time finding the Zoom somehow. Don't know, but anyways, we is good. We is good. Thanks for hanging in there. And anyways, you might have seen coming in that the gallery is like incredibly blank right now, and that's because we're between shows. We're going to be bringing in this Saturday and Sunday. And then the following Friday, art from our membership, or at least the membership who are artists, because we have about, I don't know, like 200 and some members, more than 100 of which are artists. And so probably about 150 or so are artists. And those are members who either buy a membership or they contribute to our annual auction, or they volunteer. And so dozens of people do each of those things. So anyways, if anybody wants to become a member to have their art up in the member exhibition, then of course, look at our website, workssj.org or worksanjose.org. It all brings you to the same place, or look us up on social media at worksanjose, all one word. And yeah, follow like what we do here. By the way, my name is Joe, and I'm the president of the board of Work San Jose, which means that I look for things like money and I take out the trash, that sort of thing. So it's that combination that makes you the president, that sort of magic thing. Amy Street, who you guys often see, did text me and ask if she should come in, and I said, no, I can handle it tonight. So anyways, we're missing her, but thanks for coming in. Look at our schedule of events past that. We don't have Flash Fiction Forum coming up tomorrow. For those of you who are interested in that program, it's going to return all the way in October, the second Wednesday. So they're taking a little bit of time off to kind of regroup and get a new bunch of people in on their program, and they usually come in with 10 to a dozen or so curated readers each time, as many of you guys have read also in that program. So thanks for coming in. Look us up. Take a look over in the gallery. It's a nice, beautiful, completely blank 1,400 square feet behind this wall over here. So go check it out, and you can see then what we're capable of if you haven't seen our exhibitions already, although most of you guys I've seen in one of them as a visitor at least. I'm going to give to you now the president of Poetry Center San Jose, Mr. Rob Pesich over here.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. I'm Robert Pesich, president of Poetry Center San Jose, and thank you for joining us. It's a open mic tonight, and I'd like to first start with an acknowledgement. We acknowledge that Poetry Center San Jose and the city of San Jose exists on the unceded land of the Muwekma Ohlone, We recognize that the Muwekma Ohlone people are alive and flourishing members of the community today and recognize their right to this land, which they have stewarded throughout generations. We acknowledge that members of the San Jose community and residents of California and the U.S. continue to benefit from the use and occupation of indigenous lands. And we acknowledge that this land has come under the control of various entities through violence and dishonesty. And we recognize the history and legacy of colonialism that continue to negatively impact indigenous peoples, their traditional territories, practices, sovereignties, languages, lifeways, and well-being to this day. Donate to the Bay Area-based Sogarete Land Trust, led by urban indigenous women. More on that in the chat. And now for a moment of silence. All right, thank you. And so Poetry Center is a member-supported organization. We've got a lot of programs, and for more information about those events, you can just visit pcsj.org. We've got some upcoming events this month: Poetry Lounge every second Saturday, third Thursdays, of course, at Willow Glen Public Library in person, while Poetry Lounge is via Zoom, as is Poetry Exchange every third Sunday. This month, July 21st, Zoom 1 to 3 p.m. Poetry Lounge is 1 to 3 p.m. and third Thursdays is 7 p.m. We have also the San Jose Poetry Slam Zoom edition, and we're looking for a venue for the Zoom in person. We're going to find it somewhere in San Jose. And Beautiful Black Books featuring Jive Poetic, Saturday, August 24th. Via Zoom at 11 a.m. And the July issue is TBD. And remember, Red Wheelbarrow Poetry Prize is open for submissions. And so this year we have Kim Adonisio as our final judge. 1,500 and 250 are the prizes. And the top 5 are published in Red Wheelbarrow Literary Magazine. And the winning poet is... that poem is published as a broadside that is letterpress printed. So look at that also. We'll have that final date. It's July 31st up as a reminder on our website. All right. And any other further questions? Pull me aside, and want to thank Joe Miller and Works San Jose. We've been doing this together now for over a decade here with Works, and consider helping Works San Jose become a member. Donate to Poetry Center. Both organizations could also use volunteer help in any capacity. See Joe about that. See me about that. We've got wonderful programs going on at Markham House now post-pandemic. All right, so where is that list? Is that list over there? We've got the open mic list. It is, full house. Okay. Number 1 on, the ground rules. It's not going to be, It's not going to be the crazy Zoom slam, anarchy slam, but, let's have, it's not going to be one poem. So 2, maybe 3 poems, 5 to 7 minutes, and to kind of bring in what you have to share for the open mic. Okay. So with that said, number 1, Joe Miller.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, earlier, for those of you here, I did say that I hated poetry, which is why I've been asked a few times to judge like who would be the poet laureate of the county, because I just like to see poets abused like that. But anyways, I do write from time to time. This is a little bit a couple little bit old ones here. This is called Double Life. Looking at the moon, I can see why there'd be an ancient story of how it watches over us. I've got one of my own. In this land, the words creative and antisocial have become interchangeable. Break the rules, they say, even the ones that might guide you to freedom. Then a friend says, Those jokes about red men were funnier back when I knew you were white. And I say, picture me with my eyes closed, and that maybe there is no God, even at the top of a mountain. But I know we think these things only because we are not hungry. Meanwhile, I'm looking into a no-load mutual fund, investing in the aggressive growth California prison industry. Girl walks by me dialed into mobile karaoke on her wireless, held in her hand with a cord to the earpiece to avoid brain tumors from the field of microwaves. They're working on that too. Those blood vessel growth inhibitors so that the fresh new tumors don't explode when the old revered one is removed. And now I'm thinking, at least Columbus did write home about us, a mention in the captain's log, not like the first to visit Australia, who mentioned no one in their reports, as if they had landed on completely empty land, nobody home. Just a few big-clawed leaf eaters and odd hopping things. Yes, we got the mention, the handshake, the Queen's wave, recognized as the Pilgrims would, as Junipero Serra would for our potential as raw materials. These are not snippets. This is the real story. State the business of nature. May I borrow your insignificance? I'll get it right back. I wouldn't try to teach you. Please frustrate me. She didn't say no. I didn't ask her. Hold me gently in your contempt. What information do you desire? Call up the talk show. There are words that have no meaning. I use them to talk to you. All right.
Now, please welcome to the mic, Larry Hollis.
Larry. Feel free to adjust the microphone towards your mouth.
Okay. Got a couple here. This first one is a prose poem. It's called Portage. Every Memorial Day after breakfast, few of us from the family walk down the hill behind the house, under the railroad trestle, take a right on Railroad Avenue, walk past the Monica's Distribution Center, past the old railroad depot, now the Depot Restaurant, and walk partway down the railroad access road, cross the mill race, cut across the east end of Niwa Park, then through the culvert under the highway to watch the last portage point of the General Clinton Canoe Regatta at the Southside Dam. Most of the spectators were on the opposite side of the Susquehanna River, but we were right there, where the competitors came off the river to portage their canoes past the dam. First came the professional class. Their sleek, streamlined fiberglass racing canoes. The competitors were just as streak. The stern men would call out to the bowmen when to switch their paddling side. When they hit the shore, they jumped out of the water, picked up the canoe, ran the 200 feet, and put their canoe down and were off paddling in one smooth motion. The amateur class came later in their aluminum canoes. They were not as organized and varied in their abilities. Some picked up their canoes and carried on the shoulders. Others carried the canoe below their waists and took a break or two along the way, then slowly get back in the canoe and start pedaling. Those who came much later were barely able to drag their canoe inch by inch past the dam. You'd hope they could finish the last 30 miles of the 70-mile race. At least there were no more portages again. Today, I'm thinking of my friend Mike, who paddled that race many times. Never saw him compete because he started racing after I moved out of state. Mike recently and suddenly made the big portage to the next life. I believe because of his kind heart, this portage for him was quick and smooth as the professional class that he was. For us, those of us left behind, we are dragging our canoes through this portage and living without him. as if our canoes were loaded down with a ton of bricks. So this is my most recent, I got published in the Havoc magazine. I got 2 poems in here. I've written both since one's short and then one's not that long. This one is called Uvalde's Children. It's a Guandanlin Rye form. It's a Scottish form or an Irish form, I think. Still, the sun rose and set yesterday. Cows ate and ruminated their hay. In the bay, the tide came in and went out. I cried for Uvalde's children all day. And we're gonna leave that on that more fun note. Those who are submitting poetries expect rejections. This poem, I think, got rejected 6 times before I found a home here. It's called People in Glass Houses. People in glass houses should not have sex with the lights on or have sex against the wall. For that matter, should not masturbate or watch porn. People in glass houses should dance a lot, but not naked. People in glass houses should not play ball in the house. People in glass houses should always have a supply of glass cleaner, paper towels, and old newspapers. People in glass houses should not have guns, including BB and airsoft guns. People in glass houses should have at least 270 degrees of scenic views. People in glass houses should not try to sleep in, but rise with the sun. People in glass houses should always be ready for company because it's easy to tell when you're home. People in glass houses should not, of course, throw stones. Now, please welcome to the mic, Janine, UFC. Janine!
A blend of Braille and a foreign tongue moving in my mouth. I hold on to the sound of your words, nerve endings glow, warm and mostly molten. My imprint on your skin, permanently luminous. Disentangle nerve endings, detach skin from skin, separate tongues from each other, pull away from mutual gravity, split the atoms of our breath. This touch feels too much like tenderness when I want to be held down, anchored to the ground. Your weight keeps me from taking flight. Sometimes it takes all night to find my way to the underground. And those are from my book, Too Pretty to Be Porn. Thursday, July 18th, I'll be the feature poet at Willow Glen Library. Be there.
Children believe in love. There is nothing left for me here. I've given what I could. I've been forced to give you everything I have. You stole me from myself. There's nothing you haven't taken from me anymore. You took my heart and squeezed the blood from my veins. You took my corpse and crushed my bones into fine sand. You took my lungs and my ability to breathe. What I'm trying to say is you took my life from me. I was young and sweet and as fresh as strawberries in a flower field. You took my pretty petals, the only thing that made me beautiful. Now you can see the scars you left on my skin. You made me this careful. You made me this delicate. You made me as fragile as shattered glass, and I am running out of oxygen. I want to say I trusted you, but I knew about it all. I knew all the lies you told me. I knew all the medication was fake, but I still took it. Because even though you tasted like human, you smelled like sweet vanilla. And I knew all the portraits on our wall were fake. I knew the cough syrup intake was never that amount, but I didn't do anything about it because children believe in love. And my second poem is Flammable Feathers. I've always had a pen under my tongue. I just did not know how to write my story without choking on the words I still refused to say. They were the reason I was forever silent. Trying but finding no space in between the words to breathe, so to speak is to suffocate. Children like me born with broken wings, snap bones under scraped skin, because I am more victim than I am a survivor. I am the black swan in a room full of life. I am the raven in a room full of beauty. I will die and never more. My heart shoved under the floor, cobblestone walls cover my labyrinth. No light to see my open tissue, so I will write my poetry with the salt from my wounds. The red is the color that italicizes the words that kept me quiet. This poem I wrote is about me. This poem I wrote is not to tell you about my suffering, but to show you how much I've had to heal from a child born vulnerable. I went all the way down to hell just to tell you everything you say I should have died in, and I didn't. Look at how I did not drown in my thoughts that my mind created for me not to survive. Look at how I did not burn in the flame ignited by my own heart pulsing. I did not fall into the fire, I became it.
It's here. It's here already. Yeah, when I say it, then you say it. Yeah, perfect. I'm going to say the poem En Paz de Amado Nervo y luego va a traducirlo. The whole thing in español and then you say it in inglés. Perfecto. Muy cerca de mi ocaso, yo te bendigo vida, porque nunca me diste ni esperanza fallida, ni trabajos injustos, ni pena inmerecida. Porque veo al final de mi rudo camino que yo fui el arquitecto de mi propio destino, que si extraje la hiel o la miel de las cosas, fue porque en ellas puse hieles o mieles sabrosas. Cuando sembré rosales, siempre coseché rosas. Es cierto, a mi lozanía va a seguir el invierno, mas tú nunca me dijiste que mayo fuese eterno. Hallé sin dudas largas las noches de mis penas, mas nunca prometiste tan solo noches buenas, y en cambio encontré otras santamente serenas. Amé, fui amado, el sol acarició mi faz. Vida, nada me debes. Vida, estamos en paz.
With my sunset now near, I bless you, O life, because you never gave me false hope or unjust tasks, nor unmerited grief, because at the end of my rough road, I see that there was the architect of my own destiny, that if I extracted honey or bile from things, it was because I placed in them either bitterness or savory sweetness. When I planted rose bushes, I always gathered roses. After my budding youth, winter would surely follow. You, O life, never told me that May would be eternal. I encountered, without a doubt, long nights of grief, but you never promised me only good nights. Nonetheless, through dark hours, I have slept peacefully, and in God's grace, I loved and was loved. The sun caressed my face. Oh, life, you owe me nothing. Ah, life, debts settled. We are at peace.
you. Gracias. Perfect, thank you so much. Sí, por favor. Gracias. Y este otro es de Ángela Padilla Nervo. Y se llama Lo que puedas hacer hoy. Va llegando a su ocaso mi existencia borrosa, hundida y vacilante entre las sombras. No la supe llevar por el sendero brillante que del olvido me pudiera librar, siempre pensando, mañana haré tal cosa. La he dejado pasar inadvertida, desperdiciando las oportunidades que me brindó la vida para soñar en tantas ilusiones que no dejaron huella de su paso. Tú, que vienes a la vida entrando, no te dejes vencer indiferente. Solo tienes un hoy. Póntela enfrente y hazle dejar su fruto. Piensa que en un minuto podrás encerrar quizá una inmensidad. El ayer pasó. No lo lamentes. ¿Qué le puedes pedir si ya no existe? Solo el recuerdo de lo que perdiste y que no ha de volver. Date prisa en sembrar y recoger, aprovechando ese hoy esplendoroso y que puede pasar sin darte cuenta. Y poco a poco, de un mañana que se convierte en hoy y de un hoy que se torna ayer, te acercarás al fin de tu camino, lamentando quizás haber desperdiciado tantos hoy maravillosos que te brindó el destino. Gracias.
Now, please welcome to the mic Hillary King.
Thank you. I don't mind following that. She's an incredible reader. You have such great stage presence, and it's really, I'm now going to go home and work on that. Can I read 3? Is that okay? Thank you. I'm going to sort of start soft and then go. My dog passed away recently, and as a poet, what I usually do is start to write about that, then write about something else. So this is called What We Paid to Save the Cat. Bet that was expensive, everyone says, of our cat's stay in intensive care. 8 lives left, we laugh. We may have to remortgage. Evenings, she comes to me, sits, twitches her tail. It's time for her to leave us again, take her softness elsewhere. Mornings, she waits by the back door, her cry silent against the glass. Her hunger, my relief, a vote of confidence in whatever sorry job we're doing. Without an animal in the family, we would have gone bankrupt, spent love only on ourselves while promising it to each other, to the world. Every night, she slow steps across the knees of my husband and I sitting on the couch, turning twice before choosing a lap. One of us laughs and the other starves. This one was inspired by something I saw while sitting at a stoplight. I think we all have that experience. And it's called Apartment Gardener. You're the fun one, the coworker who brings cookies, who decorates the cubicle with a disco ball. You've named each plant on the balcony. Sing Taylor Swift as you wipe dust from their leaves. Or you are the grandmother, here to help with the new baby. A few weeks turned into months, into 2 years. All of you into this 2-bedroom apartment. You rescued a spider plant from the dumpster, then a fern, then another. Fuss over them the way you aren't allowed to fuss over the baby. Maybe you're the boyfriend who took over after she left, picked up the watering can she forgot to pack, turned to Reddit, r/houseplants, found you had a knack. You specialize in citrus, 3 lemons, 2 orange, 1 worrisome lime, the balcony your juicy empire. I'm not the fun one in my dull gray car commuting to my dull gray job to pay for my dull gray life that has no balcony. I would like a balcony, I decide, with a chair, and not so many plants, but a few. I'm just waiting for the light to turn from red to green. Thank you. This last one is new and I'm still working on it, but it's about a new trend I heard of called raw dogging a flight. I don't know if anyone's heard of this. This poem is called Raw Dogging America. A new viral trend to raw dog a flight means to fly in a plane from one place to another without watching, reading, or listening to anything during the duration of the flight. Not even tracking the miniature plane making its adorable way across a miniature map on your seat back. No napping, just sitting open-eyed in silence between a tech bro crushing spreadsheets and a 20-something watching Love Island on her phone. Meditation for some, a reprieve from the constant bird flap of social media. Raw dog originally meant to have sex without protection. Now it means to do anything without a level of comfort. We need to raw dog democracy right now, America. Danger is sitting in first class, talking loud and proud about corrupt judges and immigrants and what he do to who and what are we doing? Are we pushing distraction deeper into our ear canal? Firing up a dream about a time when dragons conquered the world? Will we notice when danger heads for the cockpit? I mean me, with my novels and notebooks full of poems, my warm, selfish layers. How do I do it? How do we do it? Travel from fear to safety, land this great flying ship of America home. That's it. Thank you.
Please welcome to the mic, Sergio Herrera.
Eight years ago, I don't need glasses. Now I need glasses. When I first moved from Arizona. Yeah. I was ready 1 minute ago. I swear. I am ready now. Arriba del edificio más grande de San José, te tomé una foto al atardecer y con la luz del sol poniente se iluminaba la miel de tus ojos. Arriba del edificio más alto de San José, te robé un beso apasionado y con el éxtasis de tu sonrisa me sentí un ser soñado. Hace 2 años, arriba del edificio más alto de San José, bebí del néctar de tus labios y cual estrella fugaz apagaste mis deseos en tus negros prados. Cuando fui un ser triste, arriba del edificio más alto de San José, me postré hincado a tus encantos y me dejaste quererte bien rico. Así como se quieren los enamorados, abriste tu cuerpo, tu corazón y tu alma de lado a lado. Me dejaste lleno de amor y sudando. Me empapaste con tu calor y desde entonces estoy hechizado, enajenado, enamorado. Y no miraba hacia los dos lados cuando caminaba tan despacio y me sentía peor que un esclavo. Así, de estar tirado en el fango, tirado, posaste el rayo de tu mirada en mis ojos quebrados y quedé embrujado en un embrujo encantado, donde desperté del sueño después de un exquisito beso de la reina del condado. Desperté con un beso agridulce salado, con una caricia firme, estrujante, suave, y con un éxtasis curativo afrodisíaco enajenado. Poema de desamor, bello y romántico, aquí, esperándote, recostado bajo una negra habitación, ¿Dónde están tus aromas guardados en mi erótica memoria? En mi memoria tengo hasta pláticas entre los dos, donde nos contestamos en buen y amoroso modo sobre nuestro día a día, sobre la buena y bella costumbre de amarnos, la exquisita costumbre de saborear tus alimentos, la sensual costumbre de besarte los labios y la boca, la agradable costumbre de verme reflejado en tus ojos color miel. Da gusto la costumbre de saberse amado conscientemente. Y ahí, recostado, sigo, soñando despierto que llegas a la puerta de esta casa a salvarme de la castañeda en la que vivo, en la que experimento, en la que habito. Y ahí, en posición de bebé en el vientre materno, la posición de la fe, te espero y escucho tu voz a través de las paredes y decido volar en espíritu al lado de tus aposentos y afuera de tu ventana me muevo. Me convierto en colibrí y te observo y escucho más fuerte tu voz que de la emoción. Todo mi rojo cuello te enseño y me siento el ave más bella del mundo, solo por ver el brillo de tus ojos bellos y con tristeza. Veo que también esperas la salvación de tu cuerpo, que esperas que toque tu puerta y entre a tu cielo, y así, esperando los dos, nos convertimos en amigos sinceros. Gracias. Mm, ah. Me duermo. Me duermo con el lubricante puesto por si te llego a ver en mis sueños. Escurres entre mis dedos y como si fueras una pequeña bola de nieve, vayas bajando desde la punta de la montaña hasta las faldas del cerro y te estrelles levemente, como levitando te estrelles en el horizonte para convertirte en una pequeña bola de fuego e ilumines al atardecer de este 4 de septiembre. Me duermo con el corazón en la mano, puesto que te amo, y ya dormido, las hormigas de Dalí me empiezan a consumir el cerebro de tanto pensarte y también de pensarte tanto. En piedra del David me convierto y quedo blanco, blanco, pálido de desconsuelo, pero al mismo tiempo eterno, pues sé que tu corazón le pertenece a mis sueños, pues es ahí donde siempre lo veo. Lo veo palpitar de alegría y también triste lo veo. Me duermo para poder verte en mis sueños y tocar tu cabello también, tocarte el punto ciego y soñar con tus manos que tocan mi pecho y sonar con las ondulaciones formas de tu cuerpo. Me duermo con una sonrisa en los labios, pues hoy te besaré en mis sueños. Tengo decidido dormirme y empezar a soñar que te beso, que una y otra vez te beso y de la cabeza a los pies te beso, pero luego tristemente me despierto. La verdad es que me duermo para dejar de pensarte cuando estoy despierto. Thank you.
It's fun. I have a read three today. These are all poems from my thesis that I published back in 2020 now. That's a while ago. I don't think I've ever read these. The folding screen dragon climbs a crumbling mountain behind the counter. The chef serves me the large steaming noodle bowl with a flourish. I give thanks for the meal and split the chopsticks with a crack. The broth is too hot to take in all at once, but a single sip warms the blood. As my glasses fog, I look up to watch the chef work the stove, his back broad and weary. I wonder if he has a son or daughter. Would they be my age, a dreamer without the means to dream? The broth is now lukewarm, and my chopsticks grasp at only strands that swim aimlessly without purpose. The first one was called Aging. The second one is called Cantata Set to Nightfall. When all is quiet and dust no longer needs to settle, when the echoes of a deer's footsteps are audible at dusk, and the last vestiges of sunlight no longer need to crowd along cloud breaks. When the air is clear of birdsong and the roar of planes, and not a single car, engine, or siren can be heard in the distance. When the house has finally been gutted, empty, and hollow, perhaps then you will find solitude on the kitchen floor, your ear flush against the screen door, listening for silence. Let's see, where did I put that last one? This one is based on a true story. You see, I don't really trust Google Maps anymore these days because it got me lost. And this is what happened that one time. At night, near the Claro Reservoir. Anxious, I drove down that road much longer than I expected. The night stretching on, quiet and empty. Only the occasional headlights of an oncoming car to assure me I was not alone. Near midnight, I could make out the shadows of trees and hills on one side, the lights of small houses and farms on the other, dimly lighting a darkness only a full moon can evoke. Once or twice, I thought the shape of an animal appeared before me, the eyes of a spirit that might steal me away in the night. At the corner of Harry and McKean, the road opened and swallowed everything in deep blue and black. And it was then I knew, if anything were to happen, no one would find me until the next day. As the speedometer crept to 60, I could feel my hands go numb. But the road remained ahead of me, unchanging like the blinking of a digital clock. My car felt small against the night, and home felt so far away. So I counted the minutes. I had to breathe slow and watch the darkened landscape. Understand it was a secret I was privy to, a beauty only the moon could reveal. The flicker of a streetlight brought me out of my thoughts. I was soon among cars again, and the dark was no longer a living thing that knew me. Thank you.
I'd like to share a poem in honor of the 4th of July. Somebody give me a thumbs up if this is coming through okay? How are our levels?
Just grand.
All right, thank you. 4th of July. Blood on their boots and ribbons on their shirts. Our dads came back to neatly platted cul-de-sacs and burned weenies and burgers to keep faith with their fathers on this day. They wore Banlon polos and Bermuda shorts and drank. Jack's beer for the union men, gin and tonics for the bosses and their wives, and high C for us kids that stained our mouths as bright as poppies. The last marshmallow melted, the black night bloomed with the kind of phonic light we expected to see in heaven, thrilling and apocalyptic like our movies. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Godzilla, the Blob. Weedy and willful, we bewildered them with our biblical convictions. Each son a wild-haired Samson, and every daughter Deborah draped in rainbow robes, we deemed them Philistines. Brandishing our tambourines, we filled their temples with our chants, dishonored their gods, and spoiled their feasts. In the end, we left them under lawns perpetually gleaned by mowers growling gas-powered threnodies. Puddles on the sidewalk are deeper than they appear, mirroring the rain-streaked eaves and rumpled gutters that frame the faded faces of the places we once lived. Driving back home, under skies shotgunned with stars, those houses haunt us still. We hunger for the larder and the bar and all the comforts we once spurned. Heroes no more. Pinched between the playground and the grave, we settle down to rest, masked by our cartoon avatars, mouthing our sacred songs. Here's another one celebrating the other end of the generational spectrum. It's called Hushabye. About the size of a sack of rice, you also contain multitudes. And you are relentless, your pea flower mouth repeating mother, mother, mother in a prehistoric tongue, while your little fists sprout fingers more intricate than missiles to the moon. What we seek in your infant eyes, hope, atonement, is our business, like religion. You are not to blame. Yet, coming from us, how innocent can you really be? Perhaps you are already scheming to catalog our faults like wild weeds, to juice the bruised fruits of our misdeeds, to judge us, to rebuke us, to shame us, to shun us, to outshine us, to show us up, to make us feel small until years hence, immense and beautiful, you decide to love us still. Please, love us still. Thank you.
Please welcome to the mic, Sandra Quiroz.
Good afternoon. I will be reading something from Maya Angelou. Still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soul, by my soulful cries? Does my hattiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history shame, I rise. Up from the past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror, of fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thank you. One of my favorites.
Barbara Jane Reyes, poeta in San Francisco. It will be the first poem in this collection. State of emergency. This is. I'm joining you, bro. Oh, yeah? Thank you. Oh, anything will help, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, distinguished. I feel it. I feel it. Thank you. Where did you get these? To honor movement in crescendos of text, combing through ashes for fragments of human bone, studying maps drawn for the absurdity of navigation. What may be so edgy about this state of emergency is my lack of apology for what I am bound to do. For instance, if I dream the wetness of your mouth, an oyster my tongue searches for the taste of ocean. If I crave the secret scented corners of your city on another continent, in another time, in series of circular coils extending outward, then it is only because I continue to harbor the swirls of galaxies in the musculature and viscera of my body. You will appear because I have mouthed your name in half wish, reluctant to bring myself to you. You will appear for me because you always do, with earth and skin outside the possibility of human causation. And this, I tend not to read my own, but we'll do it tonight. Oh, okay. Shelter in place. Translating tonight's dream from English to English. Can wait. I step outside and listen to the wind picking up. Scent of marshes and mudflats and the 2,000-year-old Pozolme shell mound. While another wave of viral sirens crisscross the city. My old neighbor smoking a blunt in his wheelchair, points to the small clouds of our breath merging in the streetlight. From a king mattress left curbside, Coyote gets up and stares at us, then slowly walks away towards El Camino Real. In his mouth, a small teddy bear or something. Thank you all. Thank you for the vision. Thank you for all of your vision. Next month, we will have Daryl Dela Cruz here and a special guest from Fresno celebrating their new books published by Terrain Poetry Press. And so join us for that reading in August. And have a great evening here with food and drink. Enjoy and see you again. All right. Lots of love. Thank you, Mose and Chatland. All right.